Thanks for joining me.
No, my absolute pleasure. Glad
Welcome
to be here.
to Chicago.
It's nice seeing you. I was here back in '95, so it's been a beat, but I'm glad to be back and checking it all out again.
Were you here visiting? That was the last time where you lived here for a little bit.
No, the last time I was here, originally I looked into DePaul University for broadcasting back in the day. But then actually, after I chose my other school, I came here with the theater group to basically explore the city, see Second City, see the organic, and have a good time.
All right. Well, that's awesome. Well, it's not too cold today.
No,
so
it's very nice,
not bad. Okay. So let's start by introducing yourself and what your role is at EVED.
I go by Scotty. There's a reason for that in the Hollywood industry. But since I've been here, I'm the production customer success manager. So I'm helping out all the production clients as much as possible when they get up and rolling with our EVED pay card service and our AP digital payment service. Also helping out the help desk with all our other marketing and events clients and do what I can to make their day go easier.
How long have you been in EVED for?
Been at EVED for almost 2 years now. Started off for about 4 months as a consultant as I got acquainted with your company and acquainted with your products, and then became a full-time employee.
What was one of the reasons why you decided to join?
The main reason, and it's funny in this day and age, is a lot of people will grab a job just because a job's needed. Even though I may need a job at a certain point, I still want to believe in where I work. I actually do search for companies. I check their backgrounds. I check if they've been involved in anything that I would not personally want to be involved with my life. And as far as products are concerned, I actually have to be sold on a product. I can't tell somebody I like a product unless I actually believe in it. So it was your wonderful salespeople, Amber in particular, who took the time with me when I didn't quite see the need or believe in it until I could actually, I get this. I see how it helps. I see how it can help make people's lives easier. I can back this. So when I found something I could back with people that I felt supported me, it was a no-brainer.
What's the biggest surprise? People come, they have an assumption of how things are going to be. Is there anything that was a surprise for you? Hopefully a good surprise for you.
As far as good surprises, quite honestly, it was the fact that people actually do have your back. Companies will talk a lot about external and internal clients, but a lot of the companies at the end of the day, it's the external. And if the external's not happy, they'll throw the internal under the bus in a heartbeat, sadly. I've seen it happen from time to time in Hollywood. But that said, this company really, truly does have your back. And by having your back and helping you feel supported, it makes it that much easier to support your external clients.
And what are some examples of that in the way you feel that EVED has the back of its people?
The managers and bosses are very conscious of your personal needs, your personal stress levels, and making sure that you can handle the load, not throwing stuff on your plate, and actually periodically check in and make sure, are you still good? Can I pitch in? Can I help out? If, do we need to reroute something to somebody else? Is your bandwidth stretched in this area? I've actually never seen companies check in as often as this particular company does. And, it benefits the clients at the end of the day, because if you have a burnout employee, there's no way they can help the client.
Yeah.
So making sure we're in a good place to help people extends outward to the clients that we do deal with.
So kind of going on that, what do you feel kind of the culture is at EVED in terms of how we think about our clients and how we treat our clients and the urgency around the needs of our clients?
The same way they treat the inner employees, with making sure that they're taken care of. A lot of places I reach to, in fact, I laugh about it all the time, because our expectation is to reach the clients within under 4 hours. And we hit those marks. A lot of times a lot faster than that. That's, actually that's kind of a stretch on the back end of when we reach, and we reach them much sooner. Where I've reached out to companies where they say, we'll get back to you. It might be a week. I've actually had a password reset at a company take me 12 days.
Wow.
By 12 days, you don't need to get in there anymore, or
right.
You figured it out yourself. It's been a really nice turnaround, just making things move fast for people. They can get the job done, and that makes them breathe a lot easier. And you get the feedback from them, which is nice too. A lot of times, in this day and age, we're so busy and moving along that you only hear the bad things. I need this. Can you do this? Great. It's fixed. But a lot of our clients are actually so overwhelmed with how fast we get back to them and help them. They're so appreciative that they make sure we know. I'm kind of blown away actually by how often people are like, oh my God, that's so amazing. I can't believe you helped out like that. That's great. I feel better. They're happy. This person's happy. I'm thinking, to me, it's doing my job. I'm just doing my job. But to them, it's over and above what anyone's ever done for them lately. So on one end, I'm grateful our company can provide that peace of mind to them, because that was my big thing back in the day when you got people shout on each side, and they're never the ones that are going to ever have to hear the fallout or deal with it. But sometimes as this person here, your hands are tied. You've got to rely on what's happening over here. And knowing that that person's there for you and can get you that answer that you can get these people back to focusing on other things. That made me feel really good when I used to be a client to other areas. So to be able to do that for others, really is fulfilling. I find it extremely fulfilling.
Your experience, you were in the production space, you were in Hollywood, and you're really now in a place serving the people that you used to have that position. So tell us just a little bit about yourself and how you got to where you are today.
My original degree was undergrad in theater, musical theater and broadcasting, which kind of still segued into film because film had always been, my dad was a factory worker, and that's what we could afford as a drive-in to see 2 flicks. So we were constantly around movies. My dad was always taking me and my sister to movies. So eventually it was going to be that me and my sister headed out to California. We both did. Started off as an assistant director because I thought I wanted to be in directing and human sculpting. And then one day my friend's like, hey, we need help in accounting. Can you help us out? I'm like, yeah, I can help you out. First it's like, just file some stuff. I was filing for about 30 minutes. And it's like, hey, can you enter purchase orders? Hey, can you enter bills and everything? I'm like, yeah, I can do it. I pick up on software and math fast. I've always had a math background. So by the end of the day, I'm doing what a second assistant accountant would do. And her boss walks out the door, do you want to switch careers? I'm like, sure. So 20 years later, you go from, second accountant to first accountant to production accountant to post accounting over to finance manager, controllers for companies. It just kind of spiraled through there.
Very cool. So since you have this background and does it make it easier for you to now be on the other side and provide this important service to accountants? And also, as you said before, you were talking about, I need to buy into something, that this is something different that's needed for the industry. Yeah,
I worked for a payroll company for 5 years as well. And I always found it amazing and felt such empathy for my other reps because I'm like, some of these things you can't teach. You just can't. You need to have been out in the field. You need to have done them. You need to have been exposed to them. Being on that other side of the mirror also helped when accountants would call me and be like, oh, thank God I'm not talking to some tech person. You get it. You've been there. You understand. It's like 100%. I feel you. What does help that a lot is the software. If I can trust in the reporting to know that I'm getting accurate numbers, if I can trust in the stability of the system, that there's no kind of weird technical glitch in the background that's going to change a number that I can't see on a debit credit process, or that some payment got duplicated because some software duplicated it. And that's one of the beautiful things I've seen about Evid. With all the checks and balances in place, it really minimizes any risk, if any risk does exist, that you're going to see these duplicate things or that your books are going to be off. Evid, I noticed, has an extremely robust reporting system, with the capabilities to hone in on specific categories and fields to give you exactly what you need. So you're not weeding through a list of 20 columns figuring out, okay, now what's this or that? It's like, I need these 5 criteria. I pick them. Boom, here they are. I grab my time range. There it is. So with robust reporting, you don't have to take the time to spread out a spreadsheet and put in all your formulas and put in your pivot tables and see if you can get the numbers you need. You can print it out. It's there. The pay card process, without having to do 1099s, to me is just the hugest piece of mind and time saver I've ever seen. I've gotten roped into 1099s at multiple companies because nobody wants to do it, but it needs done. It's just the reality. So, I literally, even back in the day, would pull out boxes of W-9s to look at physical W-9s and make sure they were accurate, that the person entered it accurately. And it takes a lot of time weeding through all these things. The fact that that's not even a thought if you use our products is a huge piece of mind and time saver.
What about the onboarding, taking care of getting all those vendors set up? I know for almost every other system, the process is really manual. Talk a little bit about the difference in terms of the approach of how Evid does that and what that takes off of the accountant and what it takes off of the vendors.
Well, for a long time, that was actually the position of the first, depending on the size of the show, the first accountant would take care of onboarding the suppliers because a lot of times they're brought on before the seconds and the rest of the staff. What shifted for a while is the first even then took on the responsibilities of a payroll accountant until they could bring a payroll accountant on the show. So the first was extremely overloaded with stuff to do. And just like you said, it's completely manual. You're emailing the forms, you're calling the people, you're having to wait for them to get stuff back to you. And one of the things that Evid does is the checking to make sure it's a legitimate vendor too, that there's no background issues that would cause problems. The first doesn't have time to do that. And the first doesn't have the resources to do that. So you take it on good faith when you fill the W-9 out and start making payments that Yeah, everything's good. Their W-9 is fine, but they're not trained to vet a W-9 and know if things are accurate and if that person's passed certain background checks and things like that. They take it on faith. And that's, when a show could get caught later with making the payment to the wrong person. So Evid's taking care of all of that. The Evid onboarding process, having the team that does it completely removes that hassle and headache from that production person and team.
What would you say? I know in this industry, people kind of get used to what they were using. And even though something could be so much better, what would you say to kind of those accountants? Oh, this sounds amazing, but I don't really have time to learn something new.
For the most part, they don't have to learn anything new. And that was one of the things when I first got sold on the product was, what does it actually do? I don't want to go into another software and deal with all that. I don't have time for that. Some companies, we actually have a straight API. So it's literally, if they don't want to go into Evid, they don't even have to. They engage us. We take care of their onboarding. We take care of their supplier setup. We take care of their payments. They do status quo that they've been doing for years in their payroll system. And then it all feeds in. If it's an API system, it feeds in through an API. If not, whatever file import they need, we export that file. They load it in. They move on. It's as simple as that, which is beautiful, for someone who doesn't want to learn a new software. Now, if you want to learn a new software, because we do have the information in our system as well, and like I mentioned earlier, the reporting, if you want to run out various reports that you might like better than the system you're in, you have that opportunity. I've dealt with a lot of tech through my life. The user interface is extremely friendly and easy. It's not a lot of, now, where's this? Do I go over here? It's in your face. The tabs are there. They say what they are. You click in and you go. So that would be the biggest thing. And that was my first thing, like I say, so you want them to use another system? It's, oh my God, so now they got to learn another software? No, you don't even have to go in there if you don't want to. I talk a lot about peace of mind because I truly believe in it. Film can get stressful. A lot of things have to happen on the go. I can give an example when I was working on a film that if we didn't do these 200 payments to vendors, we couldn't do a street shot. So it would literally shut the production down for a day. Hundreds of thousands of dollars to shut down a production for a day. The stress of mine was like, oh my God, I got to fax all these W-9s. I got to get all these W-9s. I got to get these vendors set up. Because I got to pay 200 people tomorrow. This film shuts down and they're going to scream at me, even though it's not my fault. But I'm the guy who has to do it. So to know that somebody else would take care of all that and we can move on, I think is a key thing for the productions to know. Nothing new to learn if you don't want to learn nothing new. If anything, it just takes stuff off of your plate as opposed to putting something on your plate.
How would you describe the culture in Evid, and how does that culture then reflect on the experience of all the customers that you were talking about before? I think there are companies that are sales-focused companies, and then there's client-focused companies, and there's product-focused companies. I know we like to pride ourselves in our white glove service and what that really means. But how does the culture and the company be able to create an atmosphere that truly is able to treat the clients in the way that makes them feel, taken care of and prioritized and needed? Love to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, the first, I think, is the fact that we actually look at the industry as anybody as a potential family member of Evid. Whereas you will literally get certain payroll companies that are only wanting to deal with certain tiers of productions. I used to hear all the time, oh, you don't care. You guys just care about the big budget films, this and that. Where we've already dealt with people from tiny budgets to a week shoot, doing a quick thing to, $50, $60 million films. So we have run the gamut of the people we've dealt with and treated them all the same. That's sadly not always the case from certain payroll companies in Hollywood. And, it's not a secret. The people know it. They know when they feel ignored. They know that they'll never go back to the company unless they're forced to by the studio telling them they have to. That's been one of the enlightening things as I started working with some of the production clients here at Evid, is they're like, wow, you're available. Wow, you talk to us. If I'm busy and I don't want to take the time for a call, yeah, we can deal with it all through email. Fantastic. But if I truly just need to talk to you, you guys are there. There's a sense of urgency, which sometimes other people they may work with in Hollywood is like, yeah, we'll get to it. Where that particular person, it may be something the person you're reaching to doesn't care about. But I've got 3 people screaming in my ear. They want this now. What can we do with the realization that sometimes things take time, things need to happen, things need to be in place. But everybody's been able to make timetables gel. So it's not been, oh my God, I'm sweating. I don't think everyone's going to get there in time. I don't think we're going to get this set up in time. And that's actually been, in the last 3 weeks, it's come up a lot. We've had people switch from previous clients they've dealt with because they were told, nope, that's going to take 2 weeks. Sorry. Well, it can't take 2 weeks. I'm shooting Monday. And the sense of urgency when they come to us and go, can you possibly do that? Yeah, we can. And it takes a lot of people sometimes. It takes a lot of teams, from finance teams to tech teams to your sales teams. But all the teams at Evid work together. As soon as that, hey, we got a hot one for Monday, let's go, all the alarms go out. Everybody's on it, because I have to then deal with the teams from my perspective of it. Internally, we talked about internal clients. And, internally, everyone's like, okay, I did my part. What else do you need? Can we do this? Okay, they got to do their part. Did you do your part? And it happens. So behind the scenes, and it's funny too, is because sometimes in Hollywood, if people don't see people running around like a chicken with their head cut off, they'll be like, oh, they don't feel the sense of urgency. They don't feel the sense of urgency. But the client doesn't need to feel that stress or that sense of urgency. They just need to know that it's happening. And the clients I've dealt with felt safe that, yeah, they are on it. They get the communication that we're on it. They see that the things start falling into place fast. So I think that gives them a sigh of relief of, okay, they said they could do it and they are doing it. And like you mentioned earlier, some companies are more sales focused or more product focused or this and that. I've seen companies, yeah, we can do that. Then turn around to the tech team, can we do that? I don't know. And then the client's left holding the bag because, but you told me we could.
Like a sense of transparency.
Yeah, transparency is a great word for it. It's like, we're not going to tell you we can do it unless we can. And when we tell you can, trust it's going to get done. And it does. And I think it's been funny seeing the people who've had that happen to them from other Hollywood entities or other Hollywood clients not deliver go, oh, wow, they said it and they did it. Fantastic. Thanks.
It's like a bar here. The bar in the Hollywood is that they assume that things that, like, people are just going to tell you what you want to hear, and then they scramble and it doesn't happen, and then you're left living the bag. So I think that is really important, because as a company, I think, like, integrity, as a company, our integrity and transparency is so important, because it's trust, right? At the end of the day, it's trust of the industry and trust of our clients, and respect, right? We respect the fact that our clients have really important jobs that people are heavily relying on them. And for our clients, it's make or break sometimes their career if something happens based on what we're doing to support them. If there's fraud that happens, they don't get a payment out on time, and then it costs a tremendous amount of money because they can't move forward, right, to shoot that day. I think there's that deeper appreciation for the situation and for the consequence for our client, and we care, right? And we respect them for their roles. And I think that hopefully is a sense of urgency and culture that we foster within Evid.
I truly believe that. And I think the clients I've dealt with so far believe it as well. And that's, like you say, if you have that mutual respect, it will bring people back, and I've seen it time and time again where it's like, hey, that company blew me off, never going back again. And it has caused that particular company show after show after show after show. Where I've seen the opposite, it's like, wow, they always take care of me. I'm staying. Even when the other company knocks on my door again and goes, hey, sorry, we're going to try this. No, whatever you offer doesn't matter, because I already have what I need here. And they've respected me. I respect them. They make things happen. So I think little by little, as word gets out, we're going to bring in more people, and the people we bring in, we're going to keep.